Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that's really super important, and we see it all the time. If you've been in the laser community very long, if you're new to the laser community, you spend any time in forums or on the interwebs, and that is, what settings do I use? Maybe you're trying a new product and you're not sure exactly what you should be doing. Or how you should set your laser up. How much power should you use? What kind of speed should you use? Those are the important questions. So I'm working on a new project today, and we're going to be working with this. This is, you can see, it's ABS double color laser sheet. So I'm going to be making some nameplates, and what this just comes from Amazon. I'll put a link down below that comes in a bunch of different colors. You can see this is just made in China. It's nothing special. It's similar to, I think there's a more popular brand called Duets that is essentially the same thing. But let me show you what it is, and then I'm going to talk about what we'll be doing. So all it is, it's a single color sheet. It's very thin, make little nameplates, etc. But as you can see, the back is black, and if you could see the side here, it's basically black, but it's been colored on the front. So when you run the laser here and engrave it, you're going to expose the black. So you'll have this brushed, in my case, this brushed gold look, but you'll end up with black text. So that's the idea. But I have no idea, should I be using a really low power and going really high speed, or at what point do I end up cutting through this, or am I going to get a better look, one way or the other? So today we're going to mainly be talking about doing test patterns, burning test patterns, so that I know exactly what is going to give me the best results. We're going to try all sorts of speeds, all sorts of different powers, and we're going to find out what works best for this particular product. So come along, we'll fire up the laser and we'll get busy. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to load a test pattern. So this is an engraving test pattern card. So you can see there's all these pretty little sugar skulls, and they have a lot of fine detail. So that's going to let us know if we're losing detail by going too hard or too fast, or too hot or too fast, etc. So as you can see, this test card, if we look at the way that it's set up, we've got various speeds and powers. So we've got from 10% power up to 40% power, and 350 millimeters per second all the way down to 350 all the way down to 200. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you, this is just particular with this card. It threw me for a loop the first time I saw it. If we look at the colors here, we'll notice that we have multiple graphics, or multiple skulls here that are the same color. So you can see they're all on this layer 06, but they have different speeds and feeds, or speeds and power. Sorry, I'm in my CNC thinking, so I'm thinking speeds and feeds instead of speed and power. So how can this be at 20% power and 200 millimeters a second, and this be at 10% power and 200 millimeters per second, when they're the same color? But if you look over here, it says speed 200 and power 80. Well, they should all be 200 because they're in the same 200 column, but they should all have different powers, right? We should have 10, 20, 30, and 40, but it's set to 80. So how does that work? Well, if you come down here to shape properties, and you have to have one specific shape clicked or selected for this to show you, it tells me that it's got a power scale setting here. So it's going to limit this to 10%. Okay, if I click this one, it is limiting this one. Even though it's set, this layer is set to 80, it's limiting it to 20%. And then you'll see this one is 30 and this one is 40. And same thing as we go across. Now I just selected a bunch, so that's why it says multi, because those are all still grouped together. But anyway, so we're gonna go load the that dual layered acrylic in the laser, and we're gonna run this file, and it's gonna take a while, but by spending the time doing this, I'm going to have a ready reference that next time I use this, I can just go and I can look at this little cutout piece, and I can say, hey, maybe I find that the sweet spot is 20% power at 275 millimeters per second, and I'll be able to know, or maybe I say, you know, for whatever reason, but I'll have this whole chart now on this particular plastic that I'll be able to reference, and it's just going to make life easier in the end. All right, we are ready. So let's let her rip and see what we get. Okay, so here's what we ended up with as a result of our burn. Now we've got this all cleaned out of the laser, and we can see what we've got. And I can see at 350 millimeters per second at 10%, it's a little bit light. And there's probably various amounts of detail. So actually 350 at, you know, all the way to 40, it gets a little bit darker. It doesn't look like we've lost much detail, but as you go across, so at 40% power and 200 millimeters per second, you can see just how much detail we've lost, the fine detail, because we're just burning through this way too much. So, you know, the faster I go, the quicker my job is going to be. So I think I'm pretty safe going 30% power at 350, or if I don't want to, you know, run my tube quite that hot, maybe I'll do 300 at 20%, you know. So now I've got a nice little thing. So again, you can imagine if you go on to a, you know, forum or the internet or something, you just search and you ask a random person, hey, can you give me a setting for this particular product? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe they tell you, like, you know, well, I do mine at 200 at 40, and they think that's what they've done and they're okay with that. Well, if you start there, that's what you're going to end up with, assuming, you know, all the same parameters, the same power of laser, etc. If everything's tuned right, your focus is good. You know, there's just so many variables, and that's why it you know, what works for one person may not work for you. So that's why I always recommend doing a test pattern, because now, you know, this one even has a little hole in it. I can hang it up. Whether it's an acrylic like this, or if it's, you know, cutting wood, whatever the case may be, when you have a test pattern like this and you understand the parameters, and then you can pick, you know, maybe I want something that has like a deeper engraved, and I'm not worried so much about fine details because I'm just making a nameplate and it's just going to be letters, but I actually want there to be some depth in there, and I don't want it to just be light and not be you know, legible from far away. So this gives me a lot of information that I can work with in the future. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and as always, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 500 viewers. That's kind of exciting. It's taken me almost a year to get there, but hopefully we'll pick up momentum. I've got a lot of free time coming up here in the next couple weeks, so I hope to be cranking out a lot more videos, and we'll just keep the channel going. And as always, let's burn together.